What are you doing?
Hold on.
Wickham!
Hell yeah!
Incoming! No man's land!
A shadowy organization known as Eteon, led by the cybernetically enhanced Brixton Lore, steals a deadly programmable virus named Snowflake. MI6 agent Hattie Shaw, sister to Deckard Shaw, is framed for its theft and forced to go on the run with the virus implanted in her. The only hope to stop Eteon and save humanity rests on the shoulders of two unlikely and constantly bickering adversaries, American DSS agent Luke Hobbs and British mercenary Deckard Shaw.
What are you doing?
Bullshit.
Bernard, she's gonna die if I don't get her out.
Bag the asset.
Hey, get in the car.
Ed, we're all going.
Mind running out of time. Come here, put you in the earth, so brand soon.
I injected myself. I didn't have a choice. It was going to take you.
Mean streak, I don't care to hide and I will.
Program intercepting vector.
Made in a cat. I'm going to.
Years ago, I put a bullet through his...
Shotgun.
I got a shotgun.
Say what to do. Those guys have to be alive, because at the end, that's my door.
What's the matter with you? I made a mistake. This is your door.
Access denied. Access denied. Denied. Access denied. Access granted.
Mis mä tein rukkupäsni, boy?
You full 8 hours?
I thought it was a cool thing to say.
It's Task Force Black. Do you remember that? Our enemies are...
Wait!
Let them go or what?
Dick.
The machine!
In the second truck! The Jagger.
Engage drones.
We're running out of road!
This ain't gonna make it, Pete. Hey!
Huh?
You trust me?
What you thinking?
Just keep driving, I'm...
Ah, there he is.
Too quick, heads.
Go, go!
Got it! What are you doing?
Go!
Richard!
Hell yeah! Incoming!
No man's left!
You don't die and just trip into our heart, you understand? You know.
Hey guys, today we're diving headfirst into the utterly bonkers, explosively entertaining, and gloriously over-the-top world of Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw. Get ready for an absolute roller coaster of brawn, banter, and things going boom, because this movie delivers on all fronts and then some. We'll be breaking down every glorious punch, every ridiculous car chase, and every time these two titans of testosterone try to out-sarcasm each other. It's an action-first spectacle, so we're going to feel every impact and hear every engine roar. Before you head off, if you're enjoying the kind of content I make, please consider liking and subscribing. No pressure, but it truly helps me keep the action coming. The film kicks off in a blaze of glory, literally. We're thrust into the heart of a covert MI6 operation in London, where a team of elite agents, including the sharp, resourceful Hattie Shaw, are attempting to retrieve a devastating bioweapon known as Snowflake. The scene is a frantic symphony of hushed commands, the soft thud of tactical boots on a tiled floor, and the metallic clink of weapons being readied. But the silence is abruptly shattered by the arrival of Brixton Lore, played with menacing charm by Idris Elba, who descends upon the facility like a digital demigod. He's dressed in sleek, almost futuristic black armor, and the way he moves, the fluid, impossible precision of his every step immediately sets him apart. He's faster, stronger, and seemingly impervious to bullets, which ping off his suit with a surprisingly dull thwack rather than a dramatic ricochet. It's almost unfair. Brixton makes short work of the MI6 team, each punch landing with a visceral crack that reverberates through the sterile corridors. His hand-to-hand combat is less a fight and more a brutal demonstration of advanced technology. He's got a heads-up display built into his visor, predicting every move his opponents make, turning human reactions into predictable data points. You can practically hear the calculations whirring in his cybernetic brain. Hattie, quick-witted and agile, manages to grab the Snowflake virus, a glowing vial that looks suspiciously like a fancy vape juice, and makes a desperate dash for escape. The chaos intensifies around her, explosions erupting behind her with a concussive boom that vibrates the entire building. She navigates the crumbling structure, dodging debris that crashes with a smash, as Brixton, calm and relentlessly efficient, pursues her. He catches her, of course, because he's a black Superman, as he so helpfully informs her. In a moment of pure desperation, to prevent the virus from falling into his hands, Hattie injects the glowing pathogen into her own bloodstream. It's a bold, terrifying move, sealing her fate and setting the stage for the rest of the movie. Brixton, ever the master of manipulation, frames her as the rogue agent who stole the virus, leaving her for dead amidst the burning ruins, the sirens wailing in the distance like a mournful choir. Cut to Los Angeles, a sunny contrast to London's grey. We meet Luke Hobbs, a man who defines the term mountain of muscle. He's living a quiet life, or as quiet as a man who could bench press a small car can live, primarily focused on his adorable daughter, Sam. Their morning routine is endearing, a rare glimpse into Hobbs' softer side, full of playful banter and the gentle clink of breakfast plates. He's trying to instill some discipline, but his daughter is clearly the boss. Then comes the call, a blaring, urgent ring that pulls him back into the world of globe-trotting espionage. He's summoned by the DSS director, who, over a crackly video conference call, briefs him on the stolen virus and the seemingly rogue MI6 agent, Hattie Shaw. Hobbs, ever the patriot, grumbles but agrees, his commitment to protecting the world overriding his desire for a peaceful breakfast.
Meanwhile, across the pond, we find Deckard Shaw living his best life, which apparently involves breaking out of a maximum security prison. His escape isn't a frantic scramble, it's a meticulously planned, almost balletic display of calculated violence. He doesn't just punch guards, he disarms them with a fluid grace, the whoosh of his jacket accompanying each precise movement, each thwack of a rendered unconscious guard echoing softly in the pristine white hallways. He's always one step ahead, his smirk firmly in place. His ultimate goal? A reunion with his formidable mother, Queenie, played by the eternally cool Helen Mirren. Their prison visit isn't filled with tearful embraces, it's a masterclass in snark and veiled threats, the quick snap of their witty dialogue a joy to behold. Queenie, in her elegant prison jumpsuit, has information for him about Hattie and the dangerous situation she's in. Family first, even when family is a highly illegal, world-threatening bioweapon. The stage is set for an inevitable collision. Hobbs is sent to London, where he's immediately briefed on the situation by a stern CIA agent. And who should be waiting there, already deep into his own investigation? None other than Deckard Shaw. Their initial reunion is less a warm embrace and more a clash of titans, a verbal wrestling match where every line is a thinly veiled insult, landing with the comedic precision of a perfectly timed slapstick moment. The meeting room, a typically sterile government space, suddenly crackles with their combined alpha energy. Hobbs calls Shaw tea and crumpets, and Shaw retorts with something equally unflattering about Hobbs's American heritage. It's like watching two angry gorillas try to operate a smart home system, lots of grunting, no real progress. Their handlers, exasperated, lay out the mission: find Hattie Shaw, retrieve the virus, stop Etion. Neither man wants to work with the other, of course, but the fate of humanity hangs in the balance, so they reluctantly agree, their mutual disdain a constant, buzzing undercurrent. Their first real action sequence together is a blistering street chase through the narrow, winding lanes of London. Hattie, a blur of panicked motion, is trying to evade capture from both Etion and, unwittingly, her brother and Hobbs. The city becomes a frantic obstacle course. Cars screech around corners with a sickening tire squeal, barely missing pedestrians who leap out of the way with surprised yelps. Hobbs, driving a massive black SUV that seems to defy the laws of physics and London road regulations, barrels through traffic, the crunch of metal against metal a constant companion. Shaw, ever the stylish operative, is in a sleek sports car, weaving through the chaos with practiced ease, each gear change a satisfying click. The chase culminates in a breathtaking sequence where Brixton, again proving his black Superman status, shows up on a super-advanced motorcycle that transforms and adapts to the environment. It's less a bike and more a sentient, two-wheeled predator. He pursues Hattie with terrifying efficiency, his bike roaring with a high-pitched, almost predatory whine. He demonstrates his superhuman strength, effortlessly lifting and throwing obstacles, the smash of a bus shelter echoing as he clears a path. He even uses his bike to literally drive through a building, leaving a trail of shattered glass and crumbling concrete in his wake, the debris raining down with a cacophony of tinkling and thudding. Hobbs and Shaw, despite their bickering, work together in a surprisingly effective, if entirely improvised way, each complementing the other's strengths. Hobbs is the brute force, slamming into enemy vehicles with a thunderous impact, while Shaw is the precision driver, executing impossible maneuvers with a flick of the wrist. They manage to corner Hattie in an alley, only to be confronted by Brixton, who effortlessly disarms and incapacitates several officers with a series of quick, brutal blows, each punch a precise thwack that leaves the target slumped and groaning. It's here that Hobbs and Shaw finally come face to face with Brixton. The tension is palpable, a silent hum of contained power. Brixton reveals his true nature. He's been cybernetically enhanced, a super soldier for Etion, an organization that believes in human evolution through technology, even if it means forced sterilization of the weak. He calls himself the future, and honestly, with that suit and those moves, it's hard to argue with him. He tries to take Hattie, explaining that the virus is embedded in her, essentially making her a biological ticking bomb. He makes a bold move to snatch her, but Hobbs, with a roar that could rival a grizzly bear, steps in. The ensuing brawl is a spectacle of opposing forces. Hobbs' raw, unyielding power meets Brixton's hyper-advanced speed and calculated precision. Every punch Hobbs throws is a heavy, concussive boom, rattling the air, while Brixton's counterattacks are a blur of quick, sharp snaps and cracks. Shaw, ever the pragmatist, uses the environment to his advantage, launching himself off walls, delivering quick, precise strikes that would floor a lesser man. But Brixton merely shrugs them off, his cybernetic enhancements making him largely impervious. It's a frustrating fight for our heroes, as Brixton consistently outmaneuvers and outpunches them, his mechanical voice coolly narrating his superiority. He's practically giving them a play-by-play of how badly they're doing, which is just rubbing salt in the wound, isn't it? The trio ultimately escapes, barely, with Hattie revealing the full scope of her predicament. The snowflake virus, initially dormant, is now becoming active, threatening to spread and kill her and potentially everyone else in a matter of days. The glowing lines on her arm serve as a terrifying countdown timer. Suddenly, the bickering duo realizes the gravity of the situation and the necessity of their alliance. They need to find a way to extract the virus. Their only lead is a brilliant, albeit slightly eccentric scientist named Professor Andreyko, who apparently designed the virus and is currently being held by Etion in a secret facility in Moscow. So, naturally, they pack their bags for a little Russian vacation. Their journey to Moscow is punctuated by more delightful banter. Hobbs tries to establish authority, Shaw constantly undermines it, and Hattie, caught in the middle, oscillates between exasperation and amusement. It's like watching an old married couple argue over directions, except the stakes are literally global annihilation. They arrive in Russia and, through a series of shadowy contacts and Shaw's underworld connections, track down Andreyko. Their infiltration of the facility is a masterclass in contrasting styles. Shaw, sleek and stealthy, moves through the ventilation shafts with the soft kss of fabric against metal, disabling cameras with a silent click. Hobbs, on the other hand, opts for the direct approach, kicking down doors with a resounding thwack and incapacitating guards with brutal efficiency, the dull thud of bodies hitting the floor a familiar sound. He's less a stealth operative and more a human battering ram. You'd think a secret facility would have more robust doors, wouldn't you? They find Professor Andreyko in a dimly lit, high-tech interrogation room. He's a nervous, twitchy man, clearly terrified of Etion. Shaw, with his refined British accent and intimidating stare, tries to extract information using subtle threats and psychological pressure. Hobbs, however, has a different approach. He decides to employ a highly unorthodox interrogation technique, which involves dangling Andreyko from a very high building by one leg. The scientist's panicked screams echo through the Moscow night, a truly ear-splitting sound. It's an insane, hilarious moment, showcasing the sheer audacity of Hobbs' methods. The professor, thoroughly convinced of Hobbs' seriousness, quickly spills the beans. He reveals that the device to extract the virus, a highly specialized piece of biotechnology, is located in another, even more secure Etion facility, deep underground in a volcanic lava field in Ukraine. Because of course it is. Where else would you store a world-saving medical device? As they fly away in their hijacked helicopter, carrying the crucial life-saving device, the team believes they've won a major victory. But the respite is short-lived. Brixton, tenacious as ever, is hot on their tail in an Etion helicopter, which is, predictably, even more advanced and heavily armed. The ensuing aerial chase is a frantic ballet of metal and fire above the Ukrainian landscape. Machine gun fire rattles against the helicopter's hull, sending shivers through the craft. Explosions bloom in the air with fiery blasts. Hobbs, channeling his inner pilot, somehow manages to keep their damaged helicopter airborne, while Shaw, with a grim determination, fires back at Brixton's chopper, each shot a sharp crack that echoes in the confined space. Hattie, meanwhile, is frantically trying to operate the extraction device, the clock ticking ominously. During a brief lull in the chase, they finally learn the truth about Etion. It's not just a rogue terrorist group, it's a shadowy organization with vast resources and a terrifying vision for humanity's future. They believe that technology is the ultimate evolutionary step, and that humanity needs to be purged of its weakness to make way for a new cybernetically enhanced species. Brixton, as their loyal enforcer, genuinely believes he's ushering in a better world, even if it means wiping out most of the population. This revelation adds a chilling layer to his character, transforming him from a simple bad guy into a misguided zealot. It also highlights the extreme stakes. This isn't just about a virus, it's about the very definition of humanity. With Etion's global reach and Brixton's relentless pursuit, the team realizes they can't just run forever. They need a place where they have an advantage, where they can level the playing field. And where better than Hobbs' ancestral home in Samoa? It's a brilliant narrative choice, grounding the high-octane global espionage in a deeply personal setting for Hobbs. They make the arduous journey to the remote island, where Hobbs reunites with his extended family, a massive, boisterous, and incredibly tough clan, led by his estranged brother, Jonah. The sounds shift dramatically here, from the metallic clangs and whirs of advanced tech to the rhythmic thrum of traditional Samoan music, the deep, resonant beats of drums, and the warm, melodic chatter of family. The reunion is a mix of heartfelt embraces and, predictably, more sibling rivalry and some good-natured, powerful headbutts. Jonah, a master mechanic and inventor, is initially reluctant to help, still holding a grudge against Hobbs for leaving their family and their island. But when he sees Hattie's condition and understands the global threat, the family bonds prove stronger than any personal animosity. It's a surprisingly touching moment amidst all the explosions, showing that even the toughest guys have a soft spot for family.
The preparation for the final confrontation with Eton and Brixton is a fantastic montage of ingenuity and resourcefulness. Since they're on a remote island with no access to high-tech weaponry, Hobbs's family, with Jonah's mechanical genius, begins to improvise. The sounds of their workshop come alive, the clanging of metal being forged, the whirring of improvised drills, the hiss of welders, the thump of tree trunks being carved into makeshift weapons. They transform traditional Samoan implements, fishing nets, spears, ceremonial war clubs into surprisingly effective anti-Eton gear. It's a beautiful blend of ancient culture and modern warfare, a testament to the idea that strength comes in many forms. Shaw, surprisingly, finds himself impressed by their ingenuity, even throwing in a sarcastic compliment or two, a rare occurrence. They set up a series of elaborate traps and defenses around the island, turning the lush tropical paradise into a deadly gauntlet. Every rustle in the leaves, every distant bird call becomes a potential sign of the enemy. Finally, Eton arrives, a fleet of heavily armed vehicles, including Brixton's formidable convoy, descending upon the island. The final battle is an absolute symphony of chaos and coordinated action. The tranquil sounds of the island are drowned out by the guttural roar of engines, the staccato rat-tat-tat of automatic gunfire, and the thunderous crump of explosions. Hobbs, leading his family, charges into battle like a warrior king, wielding a massive chain and a modified war club. Each swing is a blur of motion, each strike a bone-jarring crack. His family fights alongside him, a unified force, each member bringing their own unique skills to the fray. One moment, they're using fishing nets to ensnare enemy vehicles. The next, they're sending opponents flying with powerful, coordinated attacks. Shaw, ever the strategist, acts as the eyes and ears of the operation, directing the chaos, using his precision driving skills to lure Eton forces into the traps laid by Hobbs's family.
He maneuvers his modified vehicle through the jungle with impossible speed, the engine screaming with each acceleration, narrowly avoiding obstacles and enemy fire. Hattie, meanwhile, is still struggling with the virus, but she contributes to the fight in her own way, using her MI6 training to take down smaller groups of Eton soldiers with swift, silent takedowns, each punch a sharp thwack. The climax of this battle involves another unbelievably over-the-top sequence. A convoy of modified trucks driven by Hobbs's family trying to pull down Brixton's attack helicopter. It's a thrilling, drawn-out chase across the rugged Samoan terrain. The trucks churn up dust and dirt, their engines straining with a powerful groan. Cables snap taut, making a terrifying twang sound as they pull against the helicopter, which thrashes wildly in the air, its rotors chopping furiously. Brixton inside the helicopter is a man possessed, firing at the trucks, trying to free himself. The constant thump, thump, thump of the helicopter's blades and the clang of metal as the trucks collide and grind against each other is an auditory feast of destruction. Through sheer grit and teamwork, they manage to ground Brixton's helicopter. This sets the stage for the final one-on-one showdown between Hobbs, Shaw, and Brixton. It's a brutal, close-quarters fight on the edge of a cliff, with the crashing waves below providing a dramatic backdrop. Brixton, still confident in his technological superiority, engages them both. He's faster, stronger, and his internal computer predicts their every move, allowing him to dodge and counter with terrifying precision. Each of his punches lands with a metallic thwack, while Hobbs's powerful blows reverberate with a deep thud. Shaw's agile kicks and strikes are met with frustrating ease by Brixton's armor. However, Hobbs and Shaw, for all their differences, have learned to fight together. They use their contrasting styles to their advantage. Hobbs draws Brixton's focus with his raw power, while Shaw exploits openings with his speed and precision. They coordinate their attacks, a synchronized symphony of punches and kicks, forcing Brixton to adapt, disrupting his predictive algorithms. There's a moment where they finally land a devastating combination, a powerful crack followed by a bone-rattling thump that visibly rattles Brixton. It's not just physical strength that defeats him, it's the unpredictable human element, the sheer stubbornness of two men who refuse to back down. They manage to land a critical blow, disabling his cybernetic enhancements. The whirring and clicking sounds of his suit falter, and he loses his black Superman edge. With his tech compromised, Brixton is finally vulnerable. The fight becomes a more traditional, brutal brawl, each punch landing with a visceral smack. Hobbs delivers a series of devastating blows, each one echoing with a satisfying crack that would fell a lesser man. Shaw, seizing the opportunity, finishes him off with a perfectly timed, powerful strike. Brixton, defeated and exposed, is then deactivated by the mysterious voice of the Etion director, who decides his failed experiment is no longer useful. The director's chilling, disembodied voice crackles through Brixton's now defunct comms, delivering the ultimate betrayal. Brixton falls, defeated, his future abruptly terminated, sinking into the crashing waves below with a final muted splash. With Brixton defeated and the immediate threat neutralized, they finally manage to use the extraction device to cure Hattie. The glowing lines on her arm recede, her skin returning to normal, and a sigh of relief passes through the group. The global pandemic is averted thanks to the improbable alliance of Hobbs and Shaw and the unwavering support of the Hobbs family. The post-battle scene on Samoa is a heartwarming one, filled with laughter, celebratory food, and the renewed sense of family. Hobbs finally makes peace with his brother, a quiet, understanding nod passing between them. Shaw and Hattie share a moment of sibling affection, a rare display of genuine warmth from the usually stoic Deckard. However, the threat of Etion remains. The mysterious director, whose identity is still unknown, is still out there, pulling strings, planning new global threats. This lingering menace leaves the door wide open for future installments, ensuring that our bickering heroes will likely be called upon again. The film ends with Hobbs taking Sam to meet her extended family in Samoa, a beautiful full-circle moment that highlights the importance of family, culture, and roots. Shaw, ever the rogue, makes his own exit, but not before delivering one last sarcastic barb, promising that their paths will inevitably cross again. There are a couple of delightful post-credit scenes. One shows Hobbs setting up a hilarious prank call for Shaw using his daughter's voice, which is just peak immature Hobbs humor. Another reveals Shaw's continuing efforts to expose Etion, and a final intriguing hint at a new bioweapon, ensuring the chaos is far from over.
As the credits roll and the dust settles, one can't help but reflect on the powerful, if ridiculously explosive message woven throughout this high-octane spectacle. Beyond the deafening sounds of shattering glass and the relentless thump of fists meeting faces, the movie subtly champions the idea that true strength isn't just about individual power or technological superiority. It's about the unbreakable bonds of family, the unexpected alliances forged in adversity, and the unwavering courage to stand up for what's right, even when the odds are overwhelmingly stacked against you. It reminds us that even the most disparate personalities can find common ground for a greater good, evolving beyond their differences to protect what matters most. Hobbs and Shaw is an absolute blast, a cinematic explosion of pure, unadulterated entertainment. It's everything you'd expect from a Fast and Furious spin-off: physics-defying stunts, witty banter that flies as fast as the cars, and a commitment to upping the ante with every single action sequence. What really makes it special is the undeniable chemistry between Dwayne Johnson and Jason Statham, turning their constant rivalry into comedic gold. It's a movie that knows exactly what it is and leans into it with gleeful abandon.